Hi everyone, author Deanna L. Lawless back here to continue telling my story, which I'm calling Continuing the Pattern. And this one is going to walk you through my first marriage. Okay, so 1 week before I turned 16, I had my first child, and I married my son's father the day before my birthday. When my son was 9 months old, we began attending the congregation that my parents had started attending just a month prior. Not too long after that, I became pregnant with my second child. And I gave birth to her at the age of 17. All right, and then soon after that, I became pregnant with my third child and gave birth to him when I was 19. So by the time I was 19 years old, I was a mother of 3 children, and I had been married for 4 years. Okay. The marriage was both mentally, emotionally, physically abusive. It was mutually ignorant and lacking of healthy family systems in our upbringings. We were both mutually violent, physically and verbally. And he was proactive in his violence, but I was reactive in my violence, meaning that if he became violent with me, I would react. So he began showing signs of mental health issue in his early 20s, and eventually was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which does carry narcissistic tendencies, and I'm sharing that with you because I'm trying to show you the pattern. He began hearing voices and thinking it was God talking to him, only that what God was saying was not true, and I knew it. And so he also began waking us up in the early morning hours to chase shadows that he said were running around our yard. He would call the neighbors. He worked nights, so he would call the neighbors to check up on us to see if we had anyone in the house with us in the early morning hours. And he would wake my son up in the early morning hours when he'd get home from work on a school morning to ask him if his mother had anyone in the house with her.